What is up, fam? It's your girl, Pearl. We're here, we're live. We're going live with Renee Lim. If you haven't heard of her, she is incredible. I've been following her for a few months now and literally watched her blow up. Watched her and her business and her success and how she's been really focusing on the subconscious mind and helping people create a life that is literally incredible through neuroscience and through the mindset work, which if you know, I love that shit. That's my shit. And so I'm really excited to bring her up here and talk about all the things. And she's been killing it. It's been so Instagram. Let's take a couple seconds. There you are. Hi.
Oh my goodness. Hi. Thank you so much for the introduction. That was so lovely. I love that.
Thank you for being here. Honestly, seriously, girl, every time I see your post, I'm like, yes, Renee, get it, girl. Like, yes, let's go. It's been so inspiring.
I love your energy. You're just like, every time you post and every time you come on social media, hi. I can feel your energy off the screen. I'm like, how does this woman have so much energy? Like, what is she eating? What is she breathing? I'm like, I want some of that.
Seriously, oh my gosh. Right back at you, girl. So we're here and I'm so excited to talk about all the things you're doing. So please introduce yourself to the community and share more about you.
Yeah, so my name is Renee. I am a subconscious mindset coach, and I call myself that because using the power of my subconscious, it's completely changed my life. And I grew up in Asia, so I would be beaten at school like that. They just use traditional methods of punishment then, and I would come home every day crying, and and so when I went home, I also used those traditional methods of punishment at home. So I experienced that growing up, and that meant being a little girl, I took on a lot of this fear and emotions and trauma, I would suppose you could call it that. And I didn't know how to process it. And so I grew up very fearful of a lot of things. And that meant I was escaping. So lots and lots of drugs and alcohol and partying nonstop. And so when I realized that I could change my life, it blew my mind. It blew my mind that I could be any different to who I was. And when I tried to change my life, there were certain things that were just not budging. It was like, okay, you can read all the books and you can start reciting positive affirmations, and things will start to feel better and you get to have control over certain areas of your life. But then there were still some things that were not changing, and it seemed like it was so much easier for everyone else on the internet but me. And obviously it's not the case, but it was so interesting because then I really dived into the subconscious, because I was like, okay, there's something in my subconscious that's really holding me back. And so I need to have a look at that. But how do I get into it? Like, what even is the subconscious? And so after I made a friend a few years back, and he actually ran a webinar. It's called How to Reprogram the Subconscious Mind. And we ended up being friends. I didn't actually listen to the webinar, but I stayed till the end. We ended up being really good friends, and he did a few sessions with me. And throughout those sessions, I realized my hay fever, for example, and my cat allergies, they actually came from trauma. They actually came from getting beaten. And so after 20 minutes of a session together, I went to go pick up a cat where I used to sneeze and cry and like I couldn't breathe and my face would blow up. It didn't happen anymore. And so that blew my mind, and that was the first time that really said to me, okay, I'm not like just dreaming about this. Like this is real. Like I used to be very skeptical, like very, very skeptical. Like what even is that, right? And it's because I came from a psychology background, and so I was very much science and facts, and like I need to see this, and I need to see the studies, and then I saw that happen, and I said, okay, I have to learn this. So I did the same certification as like what my friend did, uh, and and then I did a bit more, and then it's been completely life changing ever since. And you see my business blow up because of doing this work, right? So yeah, it's magical things can happen when you not only just rewire your brain, but changing your energy. And I know you know this, and using science to manifest like your wildest freaking dreams.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Seriously, I love that story. And I actually didn't know that you could get allergies from traumas. Like that's so cool to know. That's something that like is really gonna resonate with like what I do with my clients. But your journey, and I really resonate as well because when I was younger, I also had like my parents have just traditional ways of punishment and discipline, and so I really felt for you there because yeah, it's really hard growing up, and I had a lot of things that I could feel I could resonate with you around, but
Yeah.
overcoming all these mindset shifts and fears and blocks and creating this life, like I want to know what has really helped the mindset work, yes, but what specifically about the subconscious work has helped you? Is there anything that is really key that you want to highlight?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are so many ways in how my methodologies kind of change over time, but I've really taken on board like NLP, psychology, inner child healing, like all the things. There is a process and there's a step by step, but it really is first becoming aware. Like that is the first step, which is becoming aware of when you first created the story, because a lot of the times we store emotion in the body, right? The body keeps the score. We store that energy somewhere. It doesn't go nowhere. Like we literally keep it in our organs. And so it's first realizing that, and then pinpointing, like, so what I do, I would support my clients to first, in like a hypnotic state, go back to the first memory. And usually that memory is quite fragmented because every time we recall memory, it becomes fragmented. And so what happens is that it's usually just the energy that we have trapped it, and it's what our brain has perceived it, whether that's negative or positive. It's just how the brain works. Like we create these stories around it. So just changing the story in the brain, changing how we feel in the body, really releasing it like through I love crying, and I just, for me to process it, I'm like, how do I, every single morning I'm always trying to make myself, morning or night, like make myself cry. It sounds kind of like, what's the word, masochistic, but no, it's more so a way for me to process anything that's kind of been in the body. A way for me to process, like, okay, if I feel stagnant energy, right? You dance. There's some people want to move or yawn or stretch, like whatever it is that people love to do. That's my form of, I meditate every morning, but like I like to cry, or I like to like really release, and it just feels so good. And crying is something that should be seen as normal as walking or dancing, but you know, it's so conditioned for us to place so much shame, especially my dad, who would see me cry as a little girl, and then he would get more and more angry, and so you're like, ugh, I just don't want to, and you're trying not to cry, but then he's getting more angry, and then you're like, it's just this constipated feeling of
Yeah.
not crying. And so learning now that it's literally so good, it's so healthy, it's so beautiful. I love crying. And so really processing that in my, and then and just being able to pinpoint certain emotions, like just really tuning into my body, asking it, okay, when was the first time I felt this way? There's a fly around here. When was the first time I felt this way? And it will usually bring me back to, so certain clients will go back into the womb. Like I've had a few clients that will go back to their womb, and they remember their birth, or they remember like a past life. And so these stories and these conditionings can come up, and then just changing our perspective around that, letting go any of the energy surrounding that certain memory or that certain story. And that is so powerful, because then you can start installing and creating new beliefs. Like, what do you want to believe? Like, it's like a candy store. You want to become a millionaire? Like, you can become a millionaire. It's easy. Like, you just believe it, right? Like, and then you can make it happen. it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun when you see life that way.
It really is, honestly. And that's something that I also really try and myself, my clients to do too. It's like, okay, like, what do you want to do? You want to believe, like, you get to choose your thoughts. Like, oh my gosh, you know. And I love how you talked about the emotional piece because it's so important. And how I really process my emotions is through movement, but also I use the emotion code. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
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 I've used journey and what I also share with my clients if they feel called to try it. But yeah, any way you can release, like the crying thing, I resonated so hard. I didn't cry for years because whenever I cried, my parents were like, I can't cry, you know? So literally, I didn't cry for years. And I realized, like, holy shit, like it's actually so beautiful. Like it's a beautiful release. Like you feel amazing after, and it's natural, it's normal. We're humans, like, so just like normalizing stuff like that is so powerful. So yes, girl, cry, get it out. I love it.
Yes, I'm like, yes, you feel sad, like amazing, you know?
Yeah.
Like God knows we have emotions, and that's like the most amazing thing to feel. I think it's emotions are literally so powerful. And I was watching a few documentaries. I'm not gonna get too woo right now, but like women, we are emotional beings, and so we need this. And because emotions are purely just energy,
Yeah.
and so because we women have so much emotions, we just have so much energy, and with that energy, we can create our life. Because it's like, okay, we need our emotions to use our emotions to manifest, and so that makes us women, especially, like extremely powerful. I wouldn't say like more powerful than men, but we are very powerful. Like we can create babies, so we can create our own life. We can literally choose how we want our life to play out. We can choose the life that we want to live, and it's so beautiful when you realize you have this like immense power. But a lot of times we get toppled on with the noise and you know, conditionings and unconditioning. So it's really the process, and the work is just to release the noise, like just let it all go. And then you're like, okay, I'm coming back to myself. I'm freaking powerful, and I can do whatever I set my heart on.
Yeah, that's such a good point because we often do forget how we are, and we need to release those things, release the beliefs, like release the emotions and the fears and the anxieties and everything around what we want to do, and create that life. And so, I love your process. On her page, as you go check her page, she has a 6-step process. I was looking at it the other day, but so someone, you get aware, you release the emotion, you're like feeling better. Now, what are some of the steps people can take to actually change their life from that elevated state? Are there certain things that you suggest your clients do on a daily basis, things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I first started my journey, I had all this time, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna fucking go. Like, let's go. I'm gonna start doing 7 new things every morning as my morning habit.
That was
I went from like, from just being that girl that, you know, would wake up, didn't have any, just kind of like roll out of bed. I don't know, like life happen, like do life and stuff like that. No planning, no structure. It's kind of like let life happen to me. To like, next morning I woke up, I was like, okay, I'm meditating, I'm drinking a glass of water, I'm taking all my supplements, I'm gonna exercise like for 45 minutes, I'm gonna take a cold shower, I'm gonna like study for half an hour. Like, I was like, whoa. Yeah, I was like super hard, like balls to the wall. And so that really helped. But I can understand that most people don't have the time, or when you put so many habits all at once, you can crash, or you don't have that foundation yet. So I would just start by cultivating like a morning and nighttime routine that is very, very suitable to your lifestyle, and that makes you feel fucking amazing. That because, right, you know, our morning and nighttime is when we first wake up and when we go to sleep, our subconscious is wide open. We are in theta state, slow wave brain state, and so that's when our subconscious is more susceptible. And so when people wake up and they scroll, or they you know, they're just exposed to like the world straight away, then you don't really have that control over how you want to set the tone of your day. Because that is so important. When I make sure I before I open my eyes, I'm like, I'm feeling great, or like I'm really using the power of your mind to visualize. Or for some people we're visual, some people we're auditory kinesthetic. So you're really using that time to, okay, what can I do that makes me feel good? Whether that's saying, oh, thank you, because we wake up with like this blank slate, and then suddenly we these memories of our identity of yesterday, of what we said, of who we were, come back, and these memories start to dictate how we start to feel, and how we start to feel starts to dictate our day, right? Like Joe Dispenza talks about this a lot, and so if you can really tap into a clean state of, okay, how do I want to feel today? How do I want to set my day up today? And then and, and then you get to decide, because then your energetic field like changes. You start to visualize a different future, a different you, and then you get to start. You really start to step into that person, and then you can do this by saying. People like to talk to themselves. I start talking myself, as in when I do some EFT tapping in the mornings. And I'll also visualize, and I'll also tap at the same time, and I will speak out loud. So I kind of just like use all these modalities and like put them all to one, and it becomes very powerful. And really setting my tone up for the day has been so transformational. People love to journal, right? Like this is why people use journaling. I used to do that, but I stopped because personally I just felt like it started to just drag at me. Like I don't want to journal anymore, and so I'm not going to force myself to do things that doesn't light me up. And that's why I say find the thing that works for you. No one's morning routine is going to be like, no one's going to be, you're not going to be a millionaire or not. I know millionaires that wake up at like, start work at 12 p.m. You don't need to wake up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make sense. Just do what works for you and what feels really good. And then, setting up your nighttime routine. So I meditate every morning and night, but really just practicing visualizing, but always making sure that the emotion piece is the key. Like you can sit there and create images in your mind, but if you don't feel anything, it's just not going to work. That's the same with journaling. Like that's why people tell you to script, because for them it helps you bring that emotion up, and if you bring that emotion up, then that's when you can create, and that's the energetic force field that will start to magnetize towards you, because our heart literally has an electromagnetic field. It's like that magnet, and when your head and your heart is aligned, it becomes this extremely strong magnet up to 3 feet. So
Yeah.
you start to draw that into you. Yes.
And honestly, what you just mentioned, like starting simple, like if you're watching this, morning routine, evening routine, and doing something that feels good to you, that makes sense, that you enjoy, and it's allowed to change. It's like, she's like, I don't want to draw anymore. Fine. Like my morning routine has changed so many times. Some mornings it's different. Allowing yourself to be fluid with the process, but tapping into the feeling, like what's going to help you feel. For me, movement, like it's always dancing movement, helps me feel a certain way, right?
Yeah.
What's going to help you anything, but doing it every single day, and visualization I think is so powerful. I never tried tapping and visualizing, so I'm going to try that now. I'm like,
yeah, do it. Like give it a try, because it just allows you to access the subconscious so quickly. And then when you're visualizing, you with like your 3 kids or whatever, like whatever your dream life is, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, this is like so good, and I'm like literally bawling my eyes out. And it feels so good, and it's just like, oh, you just know that it's gonna be, it's coming so soon. You can feel that certainty in your cell. It's like into a cellular level.
yeah, 100%. And I'm curious, is that the same thing you did to kind of get your business success, like visualizing your business and tapping into that, getting that feeling? Is that what you kind of contribute to your success?
Absolutely. And like I would say, because my nervous system was so wrecked from feeling financially stretched, literally not even like, it was like 3 months ago, which is crazy because things just leaped so quickly. I'm like, whoa. And so, because when you're in that state of fight or flight, where you are at your rock bottom and you're like, there is nowhere I can go, like I am literally so strained financially, I can't even eat. And then just realizing, okay, like it's all in my subconscious, like I have the power to change it around. So I just did everything I can. And so that meant like I was every morning and night really tapping out all the old beliefs. So it was it was so intense the first few rounds. I would be literally sobbing every morning and night, like sobbing. And now it's because I had so much like conditioning like still stuck in there, and that's why it was keeping me in this like fight or flight state with my business and with money. And so I would sob, and it was all back to my mum and dad and everything like that. And then it got to a point where, okay, now I'm more neutral and I'll start installing new beliefs, and then the money just started to feel more natural. It started to feel easy for me. It started to feel like I would visualize like a blanket, like wrapping around me, and I could smell it, I could feel it, and it was like so close to me. And then after a while, I didn't need to sob anymore. Hello. I didn't need to sob anymore. Now every time I tap, I yawn, which is so interesting because I went from sobbing to like crying to tearing to now just yawning, like yawning all the time, all the time, all the time. So it's so cool to see that evolution of, wow, like it really works. And you know, just starting to even do the tapping was allowed me to make money in my sleep, and like that has never happened before. And so it's really cool to see the results happen almost immediately when you do it right, and you really release any of the energy out of the body. And what I actually do, so you can try as well, what I do is while I tap, I also do some inner child work. So I would start tapping, and then it will easily allow me to access my inner child and when I first created those stories. And when that happens, it helps me go there very quickly and release it very quickly. And then I would start like installing new beliefs, or I use like a modality called Psych-K, which is using kinesiology and uses your muscles to test whether a statement is true or false. And it also helps me install new beliefs.
I'm so intrigued about that. I need to talk to you. I'm gonna message you after. That is so cool. Honestly, literally seeing your results. Like, I watched you. I was like, wait. I was like, oh my god. I was like, oh my god. It was so cool.
Yeah, it's like almost magical. Like the numbers don't make sense, and you know, and I had a few men like in my DMs being like, yeah, but is that you know, no strategy, no ads. Like, is that even sustainable? Like, I'm like, okay, like I'm telling you the truth here. And it's literally through this work.
Ads and strategy to get the success, right? And so you just get to download whatever you want to believe, and that's the most powerful thing. Like, if you're taking anything away from this, is like you get to create whatever you want and whatever you want to believe. And it's just so cool to know that we have that power within us. And she's just a great example of what you can do, what you can transform in your life. So thank you so much, Renee. Do you have any last words before we wrap up?
Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Pearl. Thank you so much for having me. If anyone will want to connect, my DMs are always open. Right now, I actually am just launching today a group program, which I'm so excited about. It's my first group program. And so I'm really taking you through the same steps and systems. So every single thing, like through EFT, through Psych-K, through inner child work, really allowing us to access the subconscious. It's a 6-week group program where I will take you through so that you can use this tool to reprogram or recode or rewire anything yourself. And so I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna share because you know, it's such a powerful tool when you have it on your own and you don't need anyone else to guide you. It's just you and you're like that powerful. You are so powerful. Right? Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, check her out. Go to her page. Go check out her program. Like, her work is incredible. She's a great example of what can happen. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna join almost. But anyway, I love what you're doing in the world. Keep going, and it's been a lovely time to connect here.
Thank you so much, Paul. I'll have you on my page.
Yes, would love to. Okay, and if you liked this live, go DM her and tell her your thoughts. Or me, it's great to hear your feedback. And have a good day, Renee. I'll talk to you very soon.
Bye, love.
Bye.